All right, we're rolling. Episode 17. Pretty crazy. 17 episodes in. We're 50 away from a very big episode.
Yes, sir.
As we're on a bye week, you're immediately very laggy. I don't know if you want to take the phone off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is actually like kind of fucked up right now.
As soon as we started rolling, it's a little choppy.
Right when you press record, it got kind of fucked up.
Yeah. We'll power through. If it persists, maybe we'll figure something out.
I think we're good. I think we're good now.
And the construct literally 40 the past 30 minutes it's been like relatively quiet in my house, and as soon as we press record, the construction has resumed downstairs.
Adversity flu game.
This is very much so a flu game episode. Bears were on a bye, so there's not how loud is it? Like
it's like very, honestly not that like I know I fuck with the audience about you making noise and shit, but it's actually not that bad from what I can hear. Do you want to give it like 20 minutes?
No, not really.
Fair.
Anyways, we'll power through. This might not be the most enjoyable listen of an episode.
It'll always be,
but luckily that's not our problem. Yeah, Bears are on a bye, so we won't have any particular game from this past week to talk about, but there is a big one coming up Monday night against the Commanders, so we'll preview that a little bit. We got some college football talk today, little change of pace, and then we'll talk about maybe some moves for the Bears at the trade deadline. Sure. I am not the biggest college football guy, Small, you're gonna have to kick us off. You'll carry us through a lot of this episode. So your time to shine, my friend.
Actually going into this college football week, a lot of people would have kind of considered it to be one of the more mid weeks of college football. Sort of the games are gonna have to kind of prove themselves a little bit, because at least in just terms of the eye test, there wasn't anything that was really jumping off the screen at you. You had the Alabama Vanderbilt rematch, which that was cool. You had Florida State versus Miami, which is always a pretty good game, and they're both highly ranked for the first time in a while. So that was also pretty cool to see. But like college football always does, when our backs are against the wall and we're looking for a good game, when we're looking for a storyline, it provides it. And man, two of the bigger upsets you'll see in the college football calendar, probably the biggest upset I can remember going back to maybe Appalachian State, Michigan. And I think that's where we're going to start, because the 0-4, absolutely dead, head coachless, offensive coordinatorless, defensive coordinatorless UCLA Bruins beat the number 7 ranked playoff hopeful preseason national championship most bet on team, I want to say, the Penn State Nittany Lions, in what might be the funeral for James Franklin. And if you're asking me, if you're asking most of college football fans, it's kind of deserved. Kind of, he's not a very popular guy, let's say, right? He's got a shiny head, so I'll give him that. But other than that, not a lot of redeeming qualities. He did have a sick tweet today or yesterday where he was like, hey, 1-0 mentality on Northwestern. But he did lose to an 0-4 UCLA team that in all of their previous games this year, they didn't have the lead for not even a second. I mean, it's just an unfathomable loss. Obviously, Penn State's coming off of a pretty big stinker versus Oregon, pretty big letdown game, right? They had the whiteout, vibes were high, huge game in Happy Valley. They couldn't pull it out. But it's all about how you respond, right? Because Penn State's season wasn't over. They're probably getting into the playoff, even if they lose another game this year, right? Not at this point, but if they were to have lost another game this year as of last week. So, there's a lot of hope that should have been in Happy Valley, but they weren't able to pull it off. They weren't able to get up at all. And one of the craziest games I've ever watched, one of the most out-of-body experiences I've ever had as a football fan, was the last 6 or 7 minutes of that game, because Penn State, and I guess this is kind of the tale of a lot of upsets, right? The team that's not supposed to win gets a lead, and it's like, how well can they protect it? And this is more of maybe like a March Madness college basketball thing, but there's always like a moment where you're like, even if the other team is down by like 10 points, there's always a moment where you're like, okay, it's over. Fun. We had our fun, but the better team's here, and their guys finally figured it out. And in this game, Penn State blocked a punt for a touchdown to cut it to a 1-score lead. Their defense looked good. They finally looked like they kind of figured out UCLA. And then UCLA comes back out the next drive. Nico scrambles for like a 56-yard, not touchdown, but gain. And then they punched in the end zone. And it was like, holy shit, what is going on? Like, it was just from start to finish, an absolute whirlwind of emotions. I can't imagine being a Penn State fan watching that. I can't imagine being a UCLA fan watching that. There probably weren't any UCLA fans watching, at least in the first half. But yeah, I mean, it's just, even today, 55 hours removed from the game, I'm still checking the score like, wait, that really did happen. That really did happen. Just mind-boggling stuff. Do you have any thoughts on the Penn State Nittany Lions, and you want to maybe pour a little salt in the wounds of any Penn State fans out there?
Yeah, I'm going to toggle the mute button as best I can this episode. So I was, sitting quietly taking in what you were saying. There was some talk around the office, obviously, about that game, and there's one guy who I haven't met yet who's a big Penn State fan, and they were talking about James Franklin, and I believe he was when he was brought in, Penn State had like just recently changed athletic directors, and he was sort of responsible for the recruiting class that brought in Drew Aller, Nick Singleton, all the guys who are like they're studs.
Sure.
But the previous AD is the one who gave James Franklin the deal, and he is on like a very lucrative, very long coaching contract that sort of I don't know like the intricacies of college football well enough to know like how easy it'll be to get out of that contract or what the penalty is for like terminating it, but it just seems like obviously he's not your guy, and it's just like as bad as a loss as this is. I believe this is like only the third time like ever that a 0-4 team has beat a top 10 opponent, or maybe like the third time since like the 50s.
Yeah, and the last time was in 84, I think.
Yeah. As bad as a loss as it is, at least it's sort of the final nail in the coffin for James Franklin, who like isn't going to be the coach that brings you a national championship.
That's facts. Yeah,
if there was ever going to be a year, it was this year or last, and you couldn't get it done.
Didn't even really come that close, if we're being honest.
No, yeah. I one of the bigger surprises to me is how badly Drew Aller has been this season. I feel like we talked about this last episode.
We did a little
bit. Just covering the Oregon game, but he sucks. Like I'm not he hasn't gotten better. There was talk last year about him being the first quarterback selected in the draft if he was eligible. And there was buzz going into it this year about him being the top quarterback in this class. I don't even think it's just a him thing. I think this is just a terrible. I don't watch enough college football, but it feels like this is like a super, super top heavy draft class. And there's really not there's not much to go around outside of like the guys like Caleb Downs and like, Jeremiah Smith still is not eligible, but
yeah, he's
I don't know.
Be drafted yet.
The buzz around college football this year in general is sort of a little stale. Like Miami is one of the best teams in the country, but like nobody likes rooting for Carson Beck. Like maybe the most unlikable like leader of a top 5 college football team that I can remember. I've only been watching for a few years, but he I don't know. I don't know anybody who's like a fan of Carson Beck. Not to pick on him, but it's just like there's no one really to root for. So I'm obviously not going to root for Ohio State. Big game against Illinois this weekend. I think we'll look solid.
Big noon.
but I don't know.
It's
not
yeah,
super like the games have been good in college football, but I feel like
the games are always good.
players haven't been as fun to root for. I feel like last year
There's
when you
not
had
a
Penske chasing the record and
we
Travis
lost
Hunter playing both
Mateer.
ways.
We lost Mateer,
Mateer's
who was in
gone.
Oklahoma. They could have definitely been kind of like America's team. Hopefully he'll come back for Red River this weekend against Texas. There was an Instagram story from a very trusted student of Oklahoma who said that they saw him in line at Chipotle and that he said he was going to play. So, I mean, it doesn't get more concrete than that, guys. He's playing this week, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I think when you were kind of talking about like where does State go from here with Franklin and like
you're freezing up pretty good, Smalley. You're at about 240p, 120 if we're lucky.
am I dead?
And to be honest, oh, there's some life. There's some life. We might have to if this wasn't a college football episode, I'd feel a little more confident about.
Let me put on my fucking hotspot.
Oh, we're gonna go hotspot. I don't know if hotspot is the best idea. We got you a little bit here. These are the struggles of recording remotely
in a basement. Yeah, we'll figure that out. Maybe you could do some editing. I don't know how well that works, but okay. So buying out James Franklin is like the option that you were kind of considering, right? Paying him the rest of his contract so that he fucks off and you can get somebody else. The problem with that is in the new world of college football, your money is going to the players. So your boosters, everyone who's feeding, your NIL collective, they don't want to spend an additional $60 million to buy out, your shitty head coach. So they're in a real interesting position where they're going to call for his head. I mean, it's pretty obvious. He has as many top 10 wins in the Big Ten as that UCLA interim coach, which is like one of the funner stats you'll ever see. But they're not really in a position to do so unless they want to just absolutely handicap their NIL collective and basically set up the next coach for failure, which is tough. Franklin came from Vanderbilt. He was a pretty hot name, but even like at Vanderbilt, he wasn't super liked. He was always kind of seen as like a cornball guy that's like, he always does like the nobody believes in us thing. And it's like, okay, man, like maybe get your players going, whatever. But he was kind of the guy to bring Penn State back to the program that they once were under Paterno in the 80s. And, for most of the 90s into the early 2000s, Penn State was a very competitive team. At their best, they were at the top of the Big Ten. But for most years, they were kind of comparable to like a Michigan State under Dan Antonio, where they're always going to be in games against the Michigans and the Ohio States and the other best big teams of that current year, but they're not sitting at the top. And Franklin always kind of was the guy that was supposed to bring him to the top, and he just hasn't been able to. And yeah, like you were saying, it's got to be this year or last year. And talent-wise, they stack up with any other roster in the country. I truly believe that. To add insult to injury, their backup quarterback from last year who transferred to Missouri, Bo Pribula, or
Pribula.
Like killing it. Looks fucking phenomenal. They haven't had the toughest schedule yet. They definitely haven't played Oregon, but he's looked pretty dang good. And you don't really make choices like that where you're going to sit a 2-year starter behind a kid that's never started before. But it's not something you want to see if you're a Penn State fan. We'll put it there. And yeah, I mean, I don't think I've seen a program just take such a big L, such an implication-filled L in a very long time. I mean, even Alabama, who lost to Florida State earlier this year, and people were kind of calling for the end of their reign, they've bounced back.
Then you look at Florida State, and like they've looked good against a lot of teams.
Right.
And Castellanos has been like incredible, and
exactly.
They bounced back with the win against Georgia. They win against Vanderbilt. Like, I don't know.
So maybe like Penn State could have a redemption arc, but
it's not like the Bama stuff with Kalen DeBoer, like you sort of saw the same, like calling for his head after that loss. But there's a lot more like, I mean, Penn State hasn't had any sort of chance to bounce back, but that loss is like easily the worst of the year and the worst in like a very long time. But with Bama and DeBoer, like everyone was very quick to be like, this is not Saban's program. Like this is not the same team that we've come to know in years past, and that it's sort of time to move on from Bama being this college football powerhouse. And since then, they've picked up 2 nice ranked wins against SEC opponents, and they're looking. I mean, pretty realistically, I feel like Bama will end up being a playoff team. I don't know what their schedule
at this point in the
looks like.
season. It looks like they're shaping up to be a playoff team because they're going to be one of those teams that it'd be really hard for them to have 2 losses and not get in, and they only have 1 loss right now, and they don't play too many other teams that are going to take them down for the rest of the year. So they're looking, at least good enough to make the playoffs. Segueing into Alabama, that was a pretty exciting game. Most people probably were rooting for Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia, cool story out of Vandy. Johnny Football was in the building. His probably most famous play of his entire career was against Bama, where he fumbled the ball. I don't even know how it happened. He like fumbles the ball up in the air in the pocket, catches the ball,
or he like jumps over,
throws a touchdown.
No, that was against Duke. That's against Duke. Yeah, that plays cool.
In the bowl game.
That one's sick.
Yeah.
I had a pretty bad take about.
You had a bad take about Manziel?
No, about like Malik Neighbors is to Jaden Daniels as Mike Evans is to Johnny Manziel.
Ooh.
Which was more so like a take on how good Malik Neighbors is, which has aged well, but Jaden Daniels is much better than I thought he was going to be. But it's sort of a little bit of a sophomore slump, but he's not Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, I mean, talent-wise, he's probably comparable, but mental game, Johnny was about as bad as they come. But we love Johnny Football on this podcast. Good guy, fun times, good memes. But yeah, Alabama looked like they kind of looked like Alabama again a little bit. I mean, the Alabama of Saban's years beats Vanderbilt by 60 points usually. To be fair, they're not really the Vanderbilt of old. But they were very in control of this game. They didn't make any really bad mistakes. Their stars played well. Vanderbilt stars didn't really play that great. They were at least contained. And it felt like a very solid, very sure victory for Alabama, which is like exactly what the doctor ordered for that fan base. And honestly, I'm a little bit of a Bama hater. I think everyone who's a college football fan, and you kind of want to see the king fall, but the sport is definitely better when they're at least competitive. So it's good to see. It's good to see them, getting in the mix. They'll probably be in the playoffs. I like that. Other college football news: Texas.
Arch Manning should not declare for the draft this year.
He won't. But even bigger than that, even bigger than declaring for the draft, Texas has, by most people, like they were the preseason #1 ranked team, and Arch was only so big of a consider. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was the Heisman favorite, but like he wasn't even the biggest reason they were ranked #1. It was more so the returning starters and the defense, and the staff is incredible. I mean, they've got probably like Ohio State has a really good staff too. I would probably say Texas has like the 2nd or 3rd best staff in the country behind maybe Oregon, Ohio State. But if you're Texas, it's getting to the point, and I don't want to be, jumping the gun too much, but you might have to look for a replacement for Arch. He's playing that bad. I mean, it's looking rough. There's no improvement week to week. He's flexing on guys from, University of Texas, San Antonio in the end zone. And it's like, you don't need to be doing that. Sam Houston. Yeah. That's what it was. And then on the last drive of the game, they're somehow still close on the scoreboard because they're that good of a football team. And Arch comes in, gets sacked, horrible sack, loses his helmet. Backup comes in, throws a dot 26 yards out of bounds. Arch comes back in, throws a pick that gets overturned, and then gets sacked and doesn't get another playoff for the end of the game. I mean, really bad operation.
Honestly, within the entire Texas football program, all the players in the team and the members of the staff, how much money do you think Arch Manning has lost all of them? Like, if you consider the teammates who last year could have declared for the draft and decided to come back and run it back with Arch, and now are playing for like a significantly worse Texas team.
Yeah,
very much so at the hands of Arch Manning, and those guys it's going to hurt their draft stock. You're just never like looked at the same if you're not on like you can't have as much of an impact that results in winning.
Yeah,
it's probably a lot. You think
probably a
about like
lot. Talk about
the
NIL money
boosters.
too.
Yep. The potential amount of boosters and probably the money alone that Arch has lost. Like it's so crazy because like whatever 3-4 years ago we would never even consider that college football players have any sort of money to be made, but
True.
that locker room
Legally.
is probably like I
bet, man.
can't imagine it's like a very fun thing to be Arch Manning right now, outside of the fact that
They're searching
you're
for the wise
you're
for
Arch
sure.
Manning.
But yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a player in my lifetime who the red carpet has been rolled out for better than Arch Manning at Texas. I mean, he's got the last name, he's got the support system, he's got an offensive friendly staff and roster, and the schedule this year for them. Yes, they played Ohio State out of conference, which is not easy, but they don't play like a bulldog of a schedule by SEC standards. Like there's a lot they still missed out on playing, like a lot of good teams in the SEC. They're still going to have a good schedule, obviously, but it's just like you got to see it at some time. A lot of people were calling for Arch to start last year at points over Ellinger.
Is that who it
was it Ellinger? I'm pretty sure.
No,
right?
it's Quinn Ewers.
Ewers? Is Ellinger the guy before him? Yeah, they're all the same at Texas. White stocky quarterbacks. Last name start with an E. Same shit. But no, like yeah, like I remember being someone who was like, I feel like you should give Arch a chance because it didn't look like Ewers was elevating their offense to the national title level where it needed to be.
And then you see it now, and it's like
you see it now, and it's like, wow, they weren't putting him in for a reason. Like that's crazy.
I still like I don't love Quinn Ewers. I feel like he's really limited by his like his build. Like physically, he's really not
he's Tebow.
The mold of like of a modern quarterback. However, he does play in Miami, and Tua is like one of the few guys who is maybe less of a build of a modern quarterback. Like Tua plays the game in structure about as good as anyone, but so does Quinn Ewers. He's like maybe a little bit more physically talented because you could argue that Ewers has more arm strength because Tua's is terrible, and maybe has a little bit more mobility. Tua is just like one of the more mobile guys in the league.
Better short-term memory too.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's like probably the best landing spot for Ewers. It sucks that the Dolphins are terrible, but like he definitely fits like that Shanahan, McVay, like very modern offense style system. I wouldn't hate to see him get a shot at some snaps in Miami to see what he can do. Because like you think about how much worse this Texas offense is without him, and maybe there was something there. I think he was drafted relatively high. I want to say it was maybe not third round, but
I think he was fifth round guy because I think he got taken right after Shador.
Right after?
I think he was right after. Maybe he was before though. That'd be crazy if he went before Shador. But like my good friend was saying about Shador Sanders. What a fucking clown. Jesus Christ, man. What are you doing? Golly.
Yeah. It's an interesting
setting our people back.
Our Sanders
college football fans. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting. I really don't even know what to think of it. Especially because like Dylan Gabriel played pretty well. Like in the game
just like a likable guy. Like Dylan Gabriel is a baller. He's a gamer. I'm sure he's working his ass off. Like it's not like what's the beef, bro? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And his family was up at because they were playing in the UK at 9 a.m, and it was like his family's from Hawaii, so they were literally up at like 3 a.m. watching him play his first game, and he almost pulled out a win against Brian Flores, like literally one of the hardest D coordinators in the league to play against, and it's even harder to go out there in your first NFL start and to do it like on the Browns, and he wasn't terrible. Like they were in the game for all of it, like until Vikings won with off a Jordan Addison touchdown with 25 seconds left. And I don't know, I was pretty happy with what Dylan Gabriel did. And it's like, if you're Shador, why are you not like why is there why how do you not feel the pressure to like be better and realize like, hey, I'm not guaranteed a job right now. I'm the third QB on this roster, and there are two guys playing better than me, and there's no one like calling Cleveland's phone to try to get me on their team.
No,
it makes no sense. Like I feel like
makes no sense.
the only thing is like he has like a future as an influencer, so like maybe he feels like football is not the biggest deal if it doesn't work out because like he'll just be a big name. Like literally like a Manziel type shit. Like Manziel has got a
Yeah.
podcast now, has done well in the sports media space. It's very much so like similar for Shadur, but I feel like at one point like people at least love Johnny Manziel. Like Shadur at no point was like this beloved figure in the college football or the NFL space. Like
He was always like the third most popular guy on his own team behind his dad and Travis Hunter. Like,
yeah, it's very it's so weird. I can't even think of like
bizarre.
we were texting about it. Like Marshawn Lynch, his presser in the Super
Don't
Bowl
get
is like the
fired.
only thing that's somewhat comparable. And Marshawn was like essentially a Hall of Famer at that point, or was on pace to be. So it made
Yeah.
sense and was like clear about his intentions of why he was sort of making a statement or like I don't know, acting out. But I I've never seen anything like this. I don't know.
It's really hard to get the entire like social media consciousness against yourself when you're basically like being a dick to the media. Like most people like it when you're a dick to the media. Most people
Mm-hmm.
like it when you call them out for their bullshit and, you know, oh, it's a horrible question. Like the Torian Prince rebounds thing where it's like, how does Yale out rebound Baylor? He's like, oh, well, the ball comes off the rim, you grab it with two hands, that's a
Yeah.
rebound. They did that more than us. Like that's the famous clip, and people I feel like kind of respect him for that. But like to try to like get one over on the media or try to like, you know, whatever he was trying to do and to have it fall on its face that bad, like wow, it's a bad look.
That's the
Hopefully
thing too. It like
special.
doesn't even feel like it was that much of a shot. I mean, I don't know. It's so weird because it's like every other instance, it feels like it was very much so directed at like the reporters in the room.
Mhm.
And that's why us as like fans enjoy it because a lot of the time the reporters ask stupid questions and it's like
Yep.
they like how are you like you are one of the very few reporters that gets to be in the room with these athletes and ask them questions right after they've played whatever game they're playing. And your questions suck. Like this is what you do for a living, and your questions are terrible. Like you should get shitty responses from the players for that.
Right.
But Shadur got like totally normal questions. He was just asked like how he felt, which you'd expect some any like a morsel of maturity out of him, and he just doesn't answer. So like, was it directed at like us? Like, did he know we were
I don't know,
gonna like
man.
people like us were gonna be making a podcast about him being silent and like, and it just doesn't make sense because like if you're directing it towards like the people who are like going to get like whatever, I feel like his point was people are going to get angry even if he says nothing. But it's like, why are you going after these people who like otherwise you could be making into fans by just putting your head down and trying to be a better football player? Like you were
Especially
good
when
last
your
year. There was
label
talk about
is
you going number 2. Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
especially when your label there was talk about him going number 1. And
exactly yeah.
when your label is like the immature kid who can't do anything right for himself and has so much entitlement, you'd think that that would be like so apparent to you and you'd have so much self-consciousness around that and like self-awareness, and he just doesn't. So as much as I want this to be like a humbling arc that sets him off on the right path, I don't see any way that he's really even going to get to be a starter in the NFL, let alone be in the NFL for, you know, any longer than his current contract goes on for.
You know the
One of the
clip of
worst looks I've ever seen.
the O line just like not blocking for their quarterback.
Yeah,
Like
like
that's
the
like
Adam
what he's
Sandler
asking
movie.
for.
That is
Yeah, they just
exactly
like
what
let
he's
him get
asking for.
sacked. It's just
Speaking of that, in college, he was pretty vocal about his offensive line and how he wasn't really supportive of their efforts at times. So,
it's I don't
yeah,
know. I'm no longer really rooting for him because it doesn't like, I don't know. I feel
I
like
wish him
we
well.
can, as fans of someone who like gets similarly hated on, like Caleb
Mhm,
Williams,
mhm.
like we root for him because we follow Caleb Williams enough to know that like this kid is actually putting in the work to like
He's a good dude.
good and like goes about responding to that criticism in the right way, which is like uh doing so in like doing it right in the locker room and not like blaming your coaches, blaming your teammates, blaming whoever for your problems. Like you take accountability for it, and you vocalize that, and then you like practice hard and play hard and try to win. And Shadur does literally none of that, and it's just like I don't
At
want to
least
root
could
for
have
that.
at least could have gotten with the DK's buddy, DK Metcalf's buddy, and done some sign language for us. Like that would have at least been kind of funny. Like that's
Hmm.
another thing too. It wasn't even funny. Like at least if you're gonna be a douchebag, like could it just be a little bit funny? Like, come on, man. But yeah, that's perfect timing, man. I don't know. Pretty tough. What else we got on the docker? College football wise, I feel like we're pretty good. We kind of touched on the Miami versus Florida State game, but that was a pretty decent game. It was never super competitive. Final score makes it look closer than it was, but the biggest takeaway from that game is Miami is fucking legit, and watch out because they're not losing for the rest of the season. It looks like they're probably going to finish the year 1 or 2. So that's cool. Miami being good is really good for college football. I like that. Wish they had a different quarterback, like you were saying. But you kind of touched on that the Dylan Gabriel start and how he looked pretty decent in London. That game was kind of interesting. Did you see the angle of the what's his face kick that looked like it kind of went off
I
the
did, and
camera?
the first time I watched it, it was like 240p, and I
Me
thought
too.
maybe it hit it. But then when I watch it back in like higher quality, I don't really know where it hits it. Maybe I'm in the minority of that.
It
I do
doesn't
know
look
that.
like it doesn't look like the rotation of the ball changed enough for it to like it definitely gets off course, but it looks like it would have to have like ridden the rail for it to have gone the way that it did. It didn't like there was no like obvious like if you're watching basketball when someone like touches the ball, you can see like the rotation or like the angular
Mhm.
momentum, whatever change. There was none of that. So I don't think it hit it, but it brought up an interesting point.
Yeah. The ruling is that if it hits it, the play is dead and it's a redo. I think.
Right. So
Um,
and then it happened in the what game was that? What other
the
game did it
Jets
happen
game,
in?
the Jets
The
game
Jets
where it
game.
bounced off the dude's helmet and what hit the sky
Yeah.
cam right on the
And
lens too, which is funny.
right on the lens, which was awesome because the view of that was sick. But when they brought on Gene or whoever the NFL ref guy was, he said that it should have been a redo. So got me thinking. Maybe you find yourself in a bad situation, you could just throw the ball off the sky cam and it's a redo every time. I don't know how that could be used to a team's advantage, but that's a weird rule. Because like in that specific situation in the Jets game, like it didn't affect the play whatsoever. So you'd assume that it would be like, okay, well, like they would have. I mean, they did play on, right?
Mhm.
But by rule, that should have been a replay of down. So like, funky rule. Maybe we could do something with that.
Yeah, I think the hard part with that is like the sky cam's normally behind you, so you've got to be
Mhm.
accurate because if
You
you're
do.
throwing it behind you and you miss, you just
That's
threw
bad.
the ball is live and you threw it behind you 40 yards.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd love to see that happen. Like I'm trying, like I feel like it's some shit Josh Allen would do. Just whip it at the sky cam, be like, nope, we get another one. We get another one. It's
You
definitely
do.
something like the Chiefs would pull off.
Chiefs. Yeah.
Chiefs should
I was
do
just
it
about to
like
say
with the knowledge of it being a redo and it'd be on fourth down in the AFC
that. Mhm.
Championship against the Bills. And
Yeah,
yeah, it would never be forgotten. I like it. I like that we've consistently found new ways to exploit the rules around here.
for sure. I also wonder how the time works on that because, like, let's say it's first and goal in the third quarter and your team's up by 3 points. Could you just run back and throw it off the sky cam until the game's over and they just keep resetting the clock to what it was? Like you just take off
I
8 seconds every time? Or would they
Yeah,
reset it
I
to
don't
what it
know about the
originally
clock.
was?
Yeah, I don't know what the clock situation
Because
looks like.
usually on like offsetting penalties, they don't reset the clock. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, but if a play is blown dead or if it's announced dead, I think typically you reset the game clock.
But like,
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
But at a certain point, they'd be like, "Stop."
They'd
Like,
be like, okay,
just
bro, what the fuck?
stop throwing into the sky camp. Like the
That'd
Frankie
be so
Louvu thing
funny.
on the tush push where he just kept jumping over the line because it was half the distance to the
Yeah.
goal and it didn't matter.
And
And they were
the
like,
ref was like,
we're gonna give them a touchdown if you don't fuck off.
which is
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, at a certain
That's
point, they
another
just
fun one.
stop it. Yeah, just like
Griefing.
griefing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Um,
just giving the other team a tutty.
yeah. Shall we move to some Bear stuff? Some
I would love to.
potential acquisitions.
Yes. So if I could preface, I feel like our Chicago Bears are kind of at a point in the season or a point in their they're kind of in their story, we'll say, in the Chicago Bears experience where we're pretty confident, like we were kind of mentioning last video, in a lot of our roster, but we have some pretty glaring weaknesses, and they're weaknesses that for, I guess, me as an outside football fan, I guess, they seem like they're pretty much just plug and play. And the two biggest spots that we're looking to upgrade are running back and D line, specifically probably edge rusher, right? Would you agree there?
Yeah.
I think running back specifically is a position where if you bring in the right guy, it probably takes him 2 or 3 days to get up to nearly full speed with the offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Monangai so far. I feel like he's done nothing but impress me and improve. I want to root for Swift, but he can't really give me a reason to. So, are you eyeing any guys at the deadline that we could maybe scoop up and improve our offense or improve our run game?
Yeah. So I'll add a little more to this
Give me
because
some context.
yeah. So obviously the two biggest glaring weaknesses on the Bears right now are edge rusher, and running back. But I think corner depth is obviously somewhere we've sort of been screwed this year, but the secondary's played well, so it hasn't really like shown up anywhere yet. Like we got lucky against the Cowboys and didn't have to play CD Lamb, so didn't really get exposed.
Facts.
But we lost Jalen Johnson for, I mean, he's going to be out till December, and like if we're not making a playoff
Even
push,
if
like,
we are,
I
feel
honestly
like
I doubt he comes back. Terrell Smith went down with the season ender before the season started, so we're trotting out like Nick McLeod, who is in for Kyler Gordon right now, who has yet to play the season. He's been one of the biggest weaknesses on the defense, especially in the run game. And Nashawn Wright is playing out wide, who I actually really like, but last year was like a practice squad guy, and
he's not quite an NFL cornerback yet.
Yeah. Although his upside is like very, very high because he's huge. He's like 6'4", super lengthy.
Good ball instincts too.
Plays well. He fits
plays.
like this system pretty well. So yeah, a corner I think is another spot where like they could use help, but I don't think they do it unless it like is a deal you just can't pass up on, or there's a guy that really makes sense, or that Dennis Allen really likes. And then the tackle position is interesting. Braxton Jones has been benched for Theo Benedict, the Canadian Eagle, undrafted guy last year, who's the staff has raved about throughout training camp and even so far this season. Made his debut against the Raiders. Started off at right tackle, and Braxton was in at left. And then at a certain point, Braxton got benched, and they moved Benedict to left tackle, and Sharpilo went in at right tackle.
And that's when Benedict.
Yeah, and Benedict looked good in both spots. Trapilo even had a good game, which was nice to see. So I like what we've seen out of Benedict so far, but I don't know if it's like a long-term option at left tackle. Again, I don't think that's like somewhere we can really address. Like tackles are not, it's not a position that becomes available, especially not at the trade deadline. But again, just another place on the roster that the Bears should be looking to address in the offseason, which is why like when we talk about the trade deadline, it's sort of important to consider like when we're going to address these roles. So the guys I'm eyeing right now I'm only eyeing running backs. I think if we're going to make a move, the only thing that makes sense, both for like what we need right now and for what we can afford to give up, uh, it's for a running back. And I really hope that it's Alvin Kamara who we bring in. Um, one, because like he's obviously significantly better than anyone we have in our room right now. But two, I think you'll get him at a fair price, and he fits like what you're trying to do uh, best. He is definitely one of those guys who it's like you get him in, and it takes him only a few days to really like understand what you're doing and what is needed out of him, because he's been around for so long and he's done everything he has, like not just as a runner but in the pass game, which I think would be uh, a big part of his role in the Ben Johnson offense. I think the Saints realistically are going to be looking to sell at the deadline. This is not as they're not going to be competing this season.
His contract probably isn't awesome either.
No, yeah,
from the Saints perspective.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to be competing this season. I don't think they will be next season either. So you're really just in full rebuild mode and just seeing what you have with Rattler and Tyler Shaw. The problem is the Saints don't tend to part ways with guys at the trade deadline, regardless of what the season looks like for them. This is definitely the worst any like outlook they've had going into the trade deadline for any season for the Saints in recent years. So maybe things will be different, but it's just like not something that they typically do.
Bears never fired a coach for the season until last year.
Exactly. Shit happens. I would really like to see Kamara in a Bears uniform. I don't know if 41 is retired. I think it might be, but like, like it's one of those numbers that would look clean. But Kamara probably wouldn't get it. I'm curious what he would. No, Gale Sayers was 40. I would say maybe it was like Brian Piccolo.
Was it Sid Luckman then?
41. It might have been
quarterback number, but
it was Brian Piccolo. So that is retired.
Piccolo.
So he'd unfortunately not be able to wear it for the Bears, but it would look nice. A lot of teams are losing running backs now. I want to say like Bucky Irving just went down with an injury. Rashad White's been good, so I don't think the Bucs would go for anyone at the deadline.
Yeah.
The Chargers just lost Amari Hampton for a few weeks. Najee Harris is already out for the year. Be curious to see what direction they go in to address their whole running back right now. But Kamara to me does not feel like as much of a scheme fit for the offense that they run in the Chargers, so much as he feels
he's
more
not as much of a between the tackles guy, yeah.
For the Bears, yeah. And I really liked Breece Hall. The idea of trading for Breece Hall, he'd be a little bit more expensive
for a minute now.
Yeah, he'd be more expensive, but he is younger. However, Braylon Allen, the backup running back on the Jets, I think is out for the year. Or he's out. I think he's expected to miss like 8 to 12 weeks, something like that. I saw that and I was like, it's a really weird timetable. Normally they don't give that and they're just out for the year, but it doesn't look like Breece Hall is going to go anywhere, even though the Jets are like really bad.
Really bad.
And honestly should just start tanking because
I mean, they're doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah. I think they're the last winless team. Titans won this week.
Titans somehow won. They like won a game they weren't trying to win.
Yeah, because we were talking about this last week too, about the Titans Saints game coming up later in the year and how that's probably going to be for the number 1 overall pick. But it looks like the Jets are making their case.
I still think the Jets are like weirdly like okay in terms like their offense is like good. Like I want to say they're like top 5 in the NFL in explosive play, or like plays longer than 10 yards. I think in the game that they lost, who did they play this week? They played. Do you remember?
Who?
But they had 16 plays of 10 yards. Yeah, the Jets. Yeah.
They played the Cowboys.
Yeah. So I mean, matchup wise, not great. Cowboys offense is crazy. Their defense was kind of banged up. Sauce Gardner looked really bad, by the way. So that's another W for Jalen Johnson as the best quarterback of all time. But yeah, I mean, Breece would be sick. I do think though, if you're going to go for a young running back, it's hard to not just wait the 4 months and then just draft the best one coming. Especially this class of running backs in college is actually pretty nuts. So maybe if you're going to go Breece Hall, you could probably just talk yourself into waiting.
Yeah.
But I do love Kamara because he's a great receiving back. I think he would bring a little bit of like he's not just going to come here to collect a check. I don't think. I do think he would try to compete as a guy who hasn't really won much in his NFL career, but has always been super, super good. Also, he fills the void of Tennessee running back on the team. So that could be good for the Bears optically. Who was our last Tennessee? He was a running back at the very end of his career. He was more of a specialist and slot guy. But
Velus.
But yeah, Velus.
Probably around the same age too, even though they were drafted like 5 years apart.
Yeah, that's facts. And Kamara was drafted later. But yeah, if we could get a Tennessee running back to start looking good, and if we could get a kick off of the upright to go in, I really like our odds. You know what I mean? Right the wrongs, get it going the right way.
Yeah, and the timetable works a lot better with Kamara than it does with Breece, because it feels like Breece is sort of a trade and sign type of guy, but you can bring Kamara in for, I can't imagine to be more than a fourth. Like, I wouldn't necessarily love paying using a fourth rounder on him, but to be honest, Ryan Poles doesn't hit all that well on the fourth rounders.
Speaking of cornerback depth,
yeah, he was fifth round, but.
Well, I was talking also about Joey Porter, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was a second rounder, technically first. Anyways,
first pick of the second round, right?
Yeah, but someone had been forfeited a pick, so it was pick 32.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, the timetable with Kamara works out better because it's just it can literally be a 6-month rental, and if you don't want to sign him, you don't have to.
You can even go back to the Saints, yeah.
Literally. So I hope that's the case, because it does seem like the Bears are going to be in the market for a running back this draft class. And if you bring in Breece Hall, then it sort of takes you out of that. And I feel like this isn't a class you necessarily want to miss out on. And I think Ben Johnson will probably put the pressure on Ryan Poles to go after a running back, because it is so important to his offense. And you've seen the how good it can be even without a solid running game. And it's if you're competing, especially in this 5-game stretch we have coming up, if it looks like you're going to have a good record by the end of it and you want a chance at the playoffs, there's a move that needs to be made, and it's that.
I agree. And yeah, I think with offensive line and defensive line, a little bit harder to integrate in terms of meshing with your contemporaries. And then unless
you're one of the best in the league, which
unless you're fucking
when Mac came in, he just elevates everyone. Same with Micah,
right.
It doesn't really. Montez Sweat somehow worked pretty well, but wasn't a game changer.
But those guys don't really get traded at the deadline, at least for deals that we would be looking to make, right? We don't have a bunch of draft capital that we're super willing to cut ties with. I feel like we're still kind of building towards an eventual Super Bowl window that might be a couple years down the road. But yeah, I think that would be an interesting move. People are definitely going to be talking about it. Would love to see Kamara in a Bears jersey. And maybe he could get the blessing from your boy, what's his name, 41.
Brian Piccolo.
Yeah, probably dead. But if he's alive, maybe you could give him his blessing. I don't know how that works with the Bears, but we do have the most retired numbers. So
we have a lot. I think the Giants have more, something like that. It's one of the older franchises, but we're up there. I don't think we absolutely should not spend any more draft capital or money on edge rusher. As crazy as that might sound, but then when you consider that we're spending upwards of $150 million on our front seven, I don't trust any sort of trade deadline move to be significant enough to elevate things. go out and draft someone in the first round.
Yep.
And
fourth most
let
expensive
them
defense. What is it?
Something it's like something insane. Yeah, we're paying so much money, and it's just not good enough. That being said, TJ Edwards and Kyler Gordon will both be back this week, which I feel like is a good segue into this game. So we'll see how that affects the run game, the defense. It should help a lot. Nick McLeod just not playing as much should make a big difference. And TJ Edwards is, Noah Sewell's been good, but TJ Edwards is much better than he is right now.
Yep.
But yeah, Bears Commanders Monday night redemption game. It's a big one.
It also fall on the night of a Cubs game. If the Cubs get past the Brewers, it would be most likely Cubs Phillies in the next round of the playoffs.
Dodgers are up 4-0 right now.
Are they up 4-0 right now? Oh, they also came back in game one. I low-key in my head wrote them off as the Phillies won game one, but the Dodgers came back and took the dub there. So it could be Cubs Dodgers, which that would be bananas. But yeah, that'd be quite the night in Chicago sports history. It would have to be a top 10 night in Chicago sports history if that were to happen. So buckle your seatbelts. That would be epic. But yeah, I mean, this game needs barely any introduction. It's going to have the feel of a playoff game. It's a primetime game. There's going to be all the storylines. Even if you take away the Hail Mary play, you still have the guy who was drafted first going against the guy who was drafted second.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, all that comes with that. And you also just have two teams that are going to be competing for playoff spots. And I guess more so in the Commanders case than our case, but for the bid for the NFC Super Bowl, right? Or for the Super Bowl for the NFC side, right? The NFC Championship.
Yeah.
Big implications, a lot of pressure.
A lot of storylines. When I look at this game, I get, obviously optimistic about our chances because I'm just back to being an optimistic Bears fan. Although after week 2 of last week, I was or week 2, whatever, against the Lions, I was I'm not going to do that again.
Time to jack off.
Yeah, that game sucked.
Yeah.
But I look at this Commanders team, and I think that they're not that much better than they were. Or they're not at least playing that much better than they were last year when we played them. There was a run after we lost to the Commanders where they were playing the best team in the NFL, and it was this is just not a team you want to play. They've had
they
a
don't
little
look
bit
like that.
No, they've had some of their weaknesses put on display this year. Obviously, Mariota has played a couple games, so that's likely why. But I feel like the more tape that has been out in Jaden Daniels, the easier it gets to game plan against him. Not that it is easy, but it is easier. You know what you're getting. You've played against him once. You're going into it with some sort of a little bit of familiarity. And I think the Bears are a significantly better team than they were last year when we played the Commanders, and we played them hard for 4 quarters last year, and we're winning the game until literally no time was on the clock. So I don't hate our chances. I think this is going to be a really, really fired up Bears team. There was the reports about Ben Johnson having that UFC clip playing on all the TVs in Hallis Hall, and get that being used. If I'm Ben Johnson, I have that fucking Hail Mary. I have that on every TV in Hallis Hall this week as a reminder for these guys of what happened and what you need to do in practice this week to go out there and get the win this time. I think I don't think it's out of the realm of out of the realm of possibilities that the Bears dominate in this game, that they go out there absolutely pissed off, and it is the statement game. It's the game that really, really sets the Ben Johnson era. It I don't know, puts it along the way. We sort of thought it was the Dallas game, maybe it was the Raiders game, but I think this could be the one where it's shit is different.
Prime time, man.
I don't think it's going to be. I would like it to be. I think there's a chance. It probably won't be. will probably lose because the Commanders are good and we're figuring things out. But when the optimistic side of me like leans the other way and thinks all these positive things
Agreed.
about this game.
Absolutely agreed. Also, maybe a storyline. I don't know if you saw Jaden Daniels post game with Juju Watkins.
I
don't know if they're an item.
Is Jaden Daniels' mom loosening the leash a little bit?
She was like definitely in the clip, but they like dapped up and it was really awkward. It wasn't really awkward. People kind of hyped it up, but it didn't look that smooth to me. But my take is that I think Juju might be kind of like playing double agent type thing because, you know, she went to school USC. Same time Caleb was there. They had not a fling, but a little mutual respect, you know, a little Twitter nod, a little like each other's post type thing. I think she could be trying to, you know, maybe sweet talk Mrs. Daniels, maybe get into the maybe take a couple hours off of his VR training and, you know, put his mind elsewhere. I don't know, but I think that could be good for the Bears. Also, if I'm remembering this correctly, the DJ Moore game 2 years ago, we were playing in DC.
Yep. Yeah, we played in Washington the past 3 years.
How does that happen? Like, how the fuck does it, like, not just playing them 3 years in a row, that's fine. But why are we always there? Like,
so I don't know why we've been there every time. Actually, okay, so I can tell you. All right, so we played them like 4 years ago at home, which I think was like the Justin Fields, like we were in the orange unis and Darnell Mooney like caught it at the goal line, but it wasn't in, and we lost. Which I think remember that was 4 seasons ago. So what happens is you play on a cycle. Like your schedule runs on a cycle, so you play the division every 4 years, and then it alternates where you play those games. So like every 4 years, the Bears and the Steelers play, and we played in Pittsburgh in 2021, and then in 2025 we play in Chicago. It works the same with the NFC East. I think we play them maybe a little bit more frequently. It might be every
2 years on average, I want to say.
I don't know.
We play one. There's 4 divisions in the AFC.
Yes,
and 4
it's every 3 years. Every 3 years, you play the NFC, whatever NFC division. So the last time we played the Commanders for that reason, like because we're playing the NFC East that year, we played them in Chicago. Every other year we've played them is because we finished in the same standings. Like we finished last in the NFC North and they finished last in the NFC East. So we play them. And I think it's been that way for the past 3 years. And I think maybe it's some sort of tiebreaker, like they just finished with a better record than us, so we travel there, or it's just like a schedule making thing with how our home games work, that we go there. But yeah, it feels a little bullshit. I'd like them to have to come here. It's not fun having to play an away game. It definitely doesn't make things easier. But especially I think the schedule makers are obviously going to try to make this matchup happen as much as possible. However they do that, I would imagine that next time we play them, it'll be in Chicago. So
yeah, I hope
we have that to look forward to at least.
Very excited to see the storylines that come out of this game, especially with, I mean, Drake May and Bo Nix also had some pretty impressive performances on Sunday. Bo Nix, for like half of a quarter, but he was really good when he was good. And then Drake May looked he looked like a dog. Can't lie. But yeah, I think like we're at a crossroads here. We got an opportunity if we're Bears fans, if we're the Chicago Bears, if we can win this game, if we can at least compete in this game and prove that we deserve to be on the same field as them. And you know, for Caleb, if he can look like he was, you know, worth that number 1 pick over Jaden Daniels, it'll do a lot for the psyche of our Bears. It'll do a lot for the psyche of our fans, of us. Very, very, very hyped.
Do you have trivia? Say it.
I do have a trivia question.
We do got to pick it up a little bit here because we got the Cubs game.
Cubs game in about 30 minutes, 37 minutes to be exact. But yeah, I'll hit you with some trivia. I actually have a pretty challenging question for you today.
Is it college football related?
It is not. It is an NFL exclusive.
All right. Better be,
You'll
better be
be
shot.
able to do. I think you'll be able to do better than your average bear, but it's a is that Yogi Bear? I don't know, but we'll see. There's some fun names on this list too, so some guys that you probably won't get. We'll be able to have some good combos about. But Michael, I would like you to name the most recent players, or any player that is, who has had 2 non-offensive touchdowns in the same game. That could be a pick six, a fumble six, a field goal block six, a punt return, a kick return, however you want to do it. You just can't throw it, run it, or catch it.
For the Bears?
For any team.
Oh, this is gonna
How
be really
many
hard.
can you get? This is a tough one.
How many? Like how long ago?
I mean, it goes back to your boy Bobby Franklin, who did it for the Bears back in like the 30s, I want to say.
Or how many people are there?
There's a lot, but I think I have highlighted. I think you can get like 6 of them, like without any help, and then from there you can get like an additional 5 to 10.
How many are there total? Like, can we put like a time limit on it? Because I'm not going to be able to guess like anybody pre 2000.
Oh yeah, no.
Well,
Like total, there's like 50 or 60 guys, but like most of them aren't even worth you're not going to get Fred Dreyer, you're not going to get Lamar Parrish, you're not going to get.
I mean, I
Skip
had both of them on
Vanderbunt.
I had all 3 of those guys on my list, but
We'll give them to you. We'll give.
can we put like a time, like, so I have a realistic shot of getting. I don't want to just be like throwing out names and just saying how many. You know what I mean? I want to try to get all of them within a certain range.
All right. So, you mean like a year range?
Yeah, exactly.
I see. Yes.
Like, there's no point in me trying to guess anybody pre 19 or like pre 2015, realistically.
No, there's a couple guys you could get.
I mean, there are a couple guys.
2015?
There's one guy right here.
He absolutely did. We'll say, yeah, let's do it. Let's just make 23. We'll cut it off at him. So anyone before him, we'll give you anyone before, like, we'll call it like the 06 season.
So how many guys are there after that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
Let me do like the last 15, because this is insane. It's a lot. There's too many people.
There's like 30 since Devin Hester, but I don't want you to get all of them. I just want you to get like 6 or 7, and then we'll have some combos.
Okay, well, Eli Rogers,
Close.
Elijah Rogers,
Closer.
What if he had
a car? What if he had a car that looked like a cop car, but it wasn't a cop car, and he had a bunch of Jesus decals on it?
Isaiah
Rogers, correct. That is your most recent guy.
That's awesome. Isaiah Rogers, Kenny Moore.
Yes,
DB.
fuck yes, yeah, dude. Yes,
that happened last year. It's easy. Eddie Jackson is on there. Obviously, Devin Hester.
Yep.
Tavon Austin. He did it in the playoffs, so maybe it's not recorded. But the playoff game, Broncos Ravens.
Did he have 2 in that game?
He had a kickoff return and
a
punt return.
Yeah, he's not on this list, but shout out to him.
It's honestly pretty. There are more guys that I could get. Are there more? Like, how many are there recently?
Since Eddie Jackson, there's been 6. You named 2 of them.
Kenny Moore and Isaiah Rogers.
Yeah. Who are the 2 most recent?
I
think at least one of them you can get, because one of them was super iconic because of how it happened. I'll give you a hint.
Is Will Hill?
No, but he did have that sick return against he was playing for the Ravens. That was dope. Will Hill was great in college too. Shout out Will Hill, big hitter. This guy did it on consecutive plays.
I'm like,
and it's the 4th most recent one. His name kind of sounds like a designer bag brand. or shoe brand, designer brand?
Diamador Lenore, some shit like that.
No, but that's pretty good.
Yeah. Just give me the team and maybe I can guess it if I can't get it from there.
Carolina Panther. Carolina Panther.
I don't know.
I think he was a rookie when he did it too.
I have no idea.
All right.
This is a really hard. This is very tough.
If you're mewing, what are you gonna get? Your nice jaw, right?
Hella bitches,
right?
But the bag.
But what about this right here?
You can get you're gonna get casted in Ed Gein Monster, the new Netflix series.
Shout out, relay, former podcast guest of mine.
You're gonna get a Jeremy Chin.
Jeremy Chin,
yeah, against the Vikings.
Yep, that was sick. Consecutive plays, pretty dope. Okay, who else we got on here? I don't know if you get these guys, but Zach Brown and Darius Renard did it in the same game against each other.
Never gonna get that.
What about a guy whose nickname is Jackrabbit? Do you know who that is?
Nah, I can't remember. It's a very hard
Janoris Jenkins. It's not easy, but you got EBK, bro. There's a lot of guys on this list that you know. That's also a fun part about this. What if you were going to design an app where the goal of the app was to create sick kick returns? Who might have done that?
Ted Ginn, kick returner.
Ted Ginn Jr. And honestly, there's a lot of like all-time great kick returners on here, so I kind of wanted it to lean that way. But what about a former Bear whose last name is a shade of blue?
Mike Brown.
No, that'd be Brown.
He just had the back. He had the back-to-back.
He did it in back-to-back picks. Yeah, game-winning picks.
Former Bear. His last name is a shade of blue.
Mm-hmm. Shade of many colors.
Navy.
That's one of them.
Bro, I don't know.
Maybe like, what's Queen Elizabeth's favorite shade of blue?
Indigo? I don't know.
No.
Is that a shade of blue?
Indigo is its own color. It's more similar to purple. It's in the rainbow.
These aren't even good hints.
This is a great hint. Everyone at home has it right now. They're screaming the answer at the camera.
No, my mom does not know the answer to this.
Your mom has EBK. All right. What about
who was it?
What about the Queen of England, right? What is she in? What's the family called?
The Eddie Royal.
Eddie Royal did it.
Royal is not a shade of blue. That's like a
it's a fucking shade of blue.
No, because Royal is like a shade of anything.
Royal pink. Royal blue is the most famous one for sure.
All right.
Okay, you got Devin Hester. What about this guy? He's a fan of one of our previous sponsors.
Dude, this is I couldn't list anybody else. Penn. Fairchild. He's a fan of children.
Nope.
Fairchild hair cutters. Penn. Green.
Hair cutters. What's another name for a hair cutter?
Barber. Marion Barber.
Nope. But
Ronde Barber.
Ronde Barber. Correct. Good answer.
I'm done. I don't want it. We're too far back.
Who's the human joystick?
Dante Hall. Okay, I can
get. Who's the coach of the Jets?
Aaron Glenn.
Shout out to Aaron Glenn. What about
Deion Sanders is probably on there somewhere. Maybe.
What about Steve Smith? Steve Smith Jr.'s dad.
Steve Smith Sr.
What about Shedeur Sanders' dad?
I said Deion.
Okay, fair. Shout out to Ron Brown. Shout out to
Gale
Kenny
Sayers
Johnson. They both did it against Green Bay. Gale Sayers absolutely did it. Who's the best cornerback of all time by some people's regards who played for the Kansas City Chiefs? I think he was called the Rocket. I don't know. I think that he played in Texas. Ken Houston. Dick LeBeau, Billy Stacy, Dick Christie. I mean, these guys are legends. But yeah, here's your trivia question. I honestly thought you were going to do better. I honestly thought you were going to do better.
It's not easy. You know, there's too many people for it to like be known how many people have done it. And it happens not frequently. It happens not frequently enough to remember who would have done it. You know what I mean?
You remembered Kenny Moore.
That happened last year, so it happened frequently enough. I remember I couldn't get Jeremy.
What about Naheem Hines?
He's a running back. He didn't. There's no way he did it. Did he get on punt returns?
Naheem Hines, brother.
Are you just talking about Naheem Hines,
brother? No, Naheem Hines did it. So did Mike Edwards. So did Samson Ebukam. I mean, these dudes are legends, bro. I've heard it both ways. What about Jeremy Ross? Speak a little Chinese for him, Jerry. What about David Bowens? His name's almost David Bowie, but it's not David Bowens.
Josh Cribbs ever do it?
Good guess, but no. Good guess, but no.
All right. I give up. I gotta go.
Well,
you know where I'm going? Going to Johnny's.
Don't say my mom's house. Okay, that's fine.
Johnny's beef. And I'm going to Emily's mom's house, which is also just Emily's house.
Yeah, I was gonna say that works. You know, cool. But yeah, pretty epic. Any trivia on your side?
What was my least favorite trivia question that I answered today?
What bra size does your mom wear?
Fuck you.
I know what the answer is if you want to ask that one. Ask me that question.
How dare you? No.
You don't want to know the answer.
No. Give me the desk item and let me get out of here. I'm gonna riot.
Desk item of the day. The supinated version of OJ Simpson's workout. Oh my God. Still in the fucking plastic wrap, baby. Look at that. That's pretty fire.
Where did you get that?
You guys wonder why I'm so jacked. It's because of this.
You just had that lying around on your desk?
On my desk, yes. It's behind the scenes footage too. And look, it's been supinated. Or it's been subpoenaed. That's the different word.
It's been supinated.
Do you know what supinated means? It means it's like a physiological term.
That's what we used to call Mario, right? Supinated.
Soupy. Yep. And also, there's some controversial outtakes.
That's so, dude. The resale value on that's probably crazy. That might be the most expensive desk item yet.
Yep,
that's so good.
And
that's
the thing is, I ain't selling
right there. That's the thumbnail. Right
I ain't selling.
I don't know if you can, when you're uploading, if you can set the thumbnail to that, but that'd be fire.
Yeah, that'd be wait. Okay, right, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
That's awesome.
All right. OJ, there's a couple more pictures of him for the people. Playing golf, holding the basketball. If anyone does want to make an offer, I've got a price, but it's going to be high. So,
all right. Time to get out of here.
Time to go watch the Cubs hopefully win. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. We'll let you know next episode how it went. Honestly, the whole series will be over by the time we record the next episode. So
it's true.
Hopefully more to talk about.
We might record on Tuesday next week, yeah. Or
we shall see. Oh, yeah, low-key Tuesday, because I'll be working Monday.
Peace.
All right. Peace.